Welcome to the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green. This podcast is a safe place for us to have weekly discussions about mental health, Christ, personal development, and the tools to live our best lives. Please stay tuned for a new episode. Hey y'all, welcome to the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green. I hope you guys are doing well. This is a new episode of the show. So don't forget to share, subscribe, like the podcast. When you subscribe and like and rate, I know that you guys are liking the content that I'm dishing out. And don't forget to subscribe to our new mailing list. So we're going to have a new segment starting next week of cool things that I find, quotes that I like, just different things. And I'm going to start it next week because I don't really have an official name for this segment. So today we're going to jump right into the topic of the day. So the topic of the day is tips to deal with disappointment, right? We on this earth have all dealt with disappointment one way or the other, right? Setbacks and feeling disappointed are naturally a part of life, right? We've all felt disappointed at one time in our life, at least one. So the first tip to deal with disappointment, matter of fact, let me backtrack. I just Googled what disappointed mean, and disappointed means sad or displeased because someone or something has failed to fulfill one's hopes or expectations. My God, today. Synonyms for disappointed are saddened, upset, let down, disheartened, downhearted, downcast, depressed, dispirited. You guys get the point. So disappointed means that you are displeased or sad, right? Because someone or something has failed to fulfill one's hopes or expectations. So being disappointed or feeling disappointed is oftentimes, based on this definition, is oftentimes tied to our hopes and our expectations, right? So the first tip is identify what caused you to feel disappointed, right? Understand the situation or what the person said or what the person did to make you feel disappointed. That is important to do. Number 2, identify and process your expectations around the situation, right? Understand what you were hoping for, what you were looking for, right? Another question that you can marinate on is, what is your underlying desire driving your goal or expectation? So for example, if you went to the store and you were looking for a particular item and they didn't have it, right? What was your desire about that thing they didn't have, right? Was it that, I really want to enjoy this ice cream, or I really want to enjoy this with my friend or significant other? Understand what your underlying desire is for that thing or situation or that person. Number 3, understand what you control and what you don't control. Understanding what I control and what I don't control has blessed me lately in the past couple of years, because oftentimes, we get upset about the things that we don't control, right? We only control our thoughts, feelings, you only control your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. You do not control another person's thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? You don't control the weather. You don't control, sometimes you don't control what your body does. Like certain things in your body are out of your control. Like there are things that are out of your control. And sometimes if it's out of your control, you got to let it go. You got to let that thing go. Okay? So understand what you control, what is in your bubble that you control, and understand what is not in your bubble and what you don't control. The last tip is learn from it. What is one thing I can learn from this? How can I adjust my course to avoid this disappointment in the future? What is one thing I can do differently the next time? And that second question of how can I adjust my course to avoid this disappointment in the future is very important, because I think sometimes as humans we can put ourselves in situations where we are continuously feeling disappointed, right? And it's important that if a situation or a person is making you feel disappointed, that you need to set boundaries in place, right? It is important. Hold on, y'all. I gotta take a water break because my throat is getting dry. Hold on. It is important. I'm back, y'all. It is important to set boundaries in place where behaviors and actions aren't healthy, right? Like, say a person that you love, says mean and disrespectful things to you, and it disappoints you, to adjust your course to avoid this disappointment again is to maybe cut off communication with this person, maybe spend less time with this person, maybe not text them as often or call them as often. You know what I'm saying? There are things that you can do oftentimes to adjust your course to avoid certain disappointments. So y'all, that is all of my notes that I have for this week. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys next week.